Hi guys, what is going on, and welcome back to another episode of Total War Arena. So, a little bit different from normal, we're just going to be taking a quick overview of the patch notes today. So today, I'm recording, this is Thursday, this video will probably be out Friday, I suspect. So I just thought we'd take a look at some of the things that have changed in the recent patch. Obviously, about a week or so ago, I did a video based on the dev blog and the dev live stream about some of the changes that are probably going to be happening. But a few things have changed now that the patch has actually been released today. So we're just going to be taking a bit of a look at that and sort of what's going on. I also couldn't do this in game because I'm currently uploading, as you can see over here. And when I upload, my internet becomes like an absolute cruel. So I can't play in game for the next hour or two while this is up, my video is uploading. So that's why we're on the internet browser instead. So obviously the main change that we've had, and if you've been playing a game and are up to tier 6 and maybe you've encountered this map already, is obviously Capua. So it's our first sort of purely city map, or almost purely city map, which is kind of quite different from sort of the other closest, which is probably Salernum. But Salernum has quite an expansive open area. On the other side of the map, we've got a lot of forests, quite a lot of open terrain, long grass, etc., which kind of makes things play out a bit differently. Whereas this is quite close together. You know, all this side of the map is pretty much entirely city. Which kind of makes things a little bit difficult. You can see the area highlighted is actually the territorial boundaries of the map. The dark areas are not going to be in play. There's a little bit of greener areas around here and stuff, and a bit of long grass possibly here and here, which may be a bit more useful. A little bit of forest towards some of the edges. But all in all, it's pretty going to be hemmed in. It's not going to be a particularly barbarian-friendly map, I don't think. It's going to be really sort of supportive of heavy infantry. Lots of roads available, you know, pretty much throughout the map. There's 4 main roadways going every way. So, you know, it's going to really favour the Romans, I should have thought. Maybe some of Hannibal's heavy infantry. But yeah, not going to be particularly barbarian friendly, I don't think. Not going to be great for cavalry either, I don't think. It's kind of narrow streets. Yeah, I don't see that necessarily working quite so well. Having said that, though, there's going to be quite a few places where you might be able to get down a street where there's no enemies and get behind people. So maybe it would actually pan out not too badly for cavalry. And we have some screenshots of the things. But obviously, if you're actually in game yourself, you will probably have played this map already. Some of the other things that changes, yeah, the map pool. They are basically just changing the matchmaking slightly so that it means if a new map's added and you've not played it much, then you're more likely to encounter it. Basically, it's obviously a good thing. It's just a minor adjustment to the way the matchmaking picks the map that players are going to play on. Makes sense. Seems a logical change. So, UI changes after the battle. We've started to see a few of these in the last patch, but now they've sort of developed on it. So, post-battle chat. I'm not sure this is a particularly good thing, actually, really. Post-battle chat, I mean, is there really a lot to talk about other than just to hate on each other? I mean, I think that's just what it's going to really be used for. It's just going to be used to abuse everyone who they feel, people feel haven't contributed, etc., etc. And to top it off, it's still region locked as well, which kind of still not overcoming this region lock issue, which I was kind of really hoping we were going to. You know, it's a real pain having to. I have to sometimes switch between the Asia server or the North American server, having 3 accounts, 3 lots of units. You know, can we not get rid of the region lock already? This is something that's not a bad thing. Is the player level improvements. So player levels, I think I'm like 97, 96 now, something like that. But they're kind of completely meaningless. It doesn't really contribute to everything. You never know how far it is to the next level. The rewards you get are so negligible. You know, you get something like, you know, at tier 90, at level 90, I got like 100 gold or something. So, you know, I'm not complaining. It's free gold, but it's kind of an irrelevant ranking system. So they've improved it a bit. They've given you a percentage ranking showing how close you are to the next level. Certainly a good thing. Makes it all a bit clearer, a bit more user friendly, and they're increasing sort of the number of rewards you'll be getting and the speed at which you're going to be leveling up. Certainly a good thing. They even, to top it all off, the players have leveled up already. You'll be credited all the rewards that you would have earned. Oh, well, that's a winner, isn't it? So that means I should hopefully get a nice bit of chuck of gold when I actually, once this is uploaded and I load into game, hopefully I'll get a nice bit of stuff. So, there's a few other little extra bits. Nothing that stood out to me massively. Just kind of, you know, a few things. Obviously, I've seen this on a few other people's accounts. When you reach level 100, you seem to get a little star next to your name, and you start back at level 1. So yeah. Yeah, other than that. So, some things, I think, I read this, I didn't quite understand this. I think these are some of the commander skins you unlock. Adding some commander skins as rewards for certain levels. Yes. For you to free them, another way to lock these skins. Okay, well this is nice. I think they could probably do being a bit higher levels to unlock, possibly. I mean, level 4, I mean, you really only have to do a handful of battles to get to level 4. And even up to level 13, you know, I've already played sort of 1,000, 1,500 battles, and I'm now level 97. So, you know, obviously unlocking these are kind of very low down. But I applaud the idea that there's like going to be like a progression. It's almost a bit like the very early stages of World of Tanks, where they started to introduce missions to unlock certain vehicles. And this is kind of almost a very early stage of this. You're completing, you're leveling up to unlock commander skins. And that's a nice thing, I like this. I think it's a good idea, and I don't really like any of them bar Arminius, who I think actually looks pretty cool. Yeah, I like Arminius. So, silver changes. I talked about this quite extensively in the last update as well. And yeah, this is all really good because it's replenishment costs have been reduced, so the cost to actually replace a unit when it gets killed in combat in a battle is obviously being brought down quite a lot. And that's certainly something that needs to be done, particularly at the higher tiers where it can be quite expensive to play games and you almost lose. Even if you win, you can often be losing money. And that's with running with a premium account. And the cost of consumables has been brought down as well. And that's particularly good, and it's obviously at the higher tiers that's being done. And that's a particularly good thing because once you hit tier 7, of course, you can run 2 consumables per time. And of course, that means you suddenly get quite a rapid cost increase from tier 6 to tier 7 because you know, you're then having to spend like an extra 4,000 or 5,000 silver per battle because you're now running an extra whole set of consumables on top of what you were at tier 6. So we've also had battle improvements. This is nice, little wheel. So you can just say attack here, move here, I need help. And even got a well played. I like that. This is a nice change. Communication in battle is obviously always really useful. It's never going to be amazing because you know, people aren't always going to get on. They're not on communications properly, and obviously the variety of different languages. But having a little wheel where you can just send basic commands or basic information requests to other players in their own language is really good, and I think that's a good thing. Oh yeah, balance changes. So we talked about this again in the last patch as well, and they're largely as I talked about them, but there have been a few shock changes. So, Ambient Scribbling Shot has been changed. I expected it just to be this. The cannot be used when engaged in melee flag. That's kind of similar to Focus Fire is currently, or has been for the past patch or two. But they've also reduced the targeting range and increased the cooldown by 20 seconds. Which is probably not a bad thing, because I mean it can be quite powerful in certain situations. I mean, particularly if you watched my Javelin video not long ago, kind of goes to show how strong it can be. Although actually the base targeting range will not affect the Javelins in any way. And the changing the short tip to missile inventory, well, we know that already because we just tested that a couple of days ago. So yeah, Caesar has got a fairly extensive nerf. Some people I saw in Reddit were saying it hasn't gone far enough. Well, possibly. That's fair comments necessarily, but it's certainly a step in the right direction. Particularly things around Vici is obviously the most powerful because that's completely basically a silence. They've reduced the duration and increased the cooldown, which is fair enough. And on video, they've changed some of the reload time stuff to missile range because I think this was being used in combination with archers and buffing them to the point they were being a bit ridiculously powerful. But the best one, the best change that I'm pretty pleased about, I'm pretty sure Jackie Fisher's going to be pleased about this because he's been banging on about this every time I see one of his videos, is that Anvil is no longer going to be activated upon contact. It's going to be an area of effect, which is definitely an unexpected but very welcome improvement. So how it currently works, or pre-patch, how it currently works is when you charge into an enemy unit and activated Anvil, if you were in contact or in combat with that unit, then they would have the effect of Anvil. But of course, if you charge into a blob of 3 units, you may end up in combat with 2 of them. And even though that third one is completely surrounding you, just for that split second you activate it, there might not be enough contact. And so therefore it activates on 2 of the enemy units and one of them can escape, or one of them still uses abilities. and it kind of made Anvil just unreliable. It was just the luck of the draw whether it was going to activate properly, and often it didn't. So yeah, 2 units with area of effect. It's quite a short area of effect, but obviously that's good. That's how it should be. Definitely a better way of implementing it. It's going to be a lot more, I feel like, bug-free or feel bug-free. Scipio, we talked about him in the last video. Yeah, pretty basic upgrade, but it's just a massive buff to his morale. It's just going to be basically unroutable in Oath of Perseverance, which is fine. I don't think it really fixes Scipio's issues. I think he's still going to be a bit of a lousy commander. It's just a slight improvement. Even got a Warcry buff as well. Boudica, I'm surprised these changes got implemented. I wasn't kind of expecting to see these. Boudica, is Boudica really that overpowered? I think they're trying to target the fact that some people were using Boudica with Falxman, and with a high charge impact enabled them to tackle cavalry, basically. And you know how fast Falxman can be, and they were almost like mobile cavalry, and then they could charge cavalry and basically completely annihilate them as infantry. Because of the higher charge impact. So they basically decreased some of these traits on Fury and on Ambush. Well, I guess that's fine. They're trying to specifically target down a specific feature of Boudica and how she was being used that they felt was too strong. But, but I don't think Boudica is particularly overpowered. So, yeah, not necessarily so pleased about that one. So what else has changed? Javelins are getting another nerf. They've only just had one a patch or two ago. How do I feel about this? I mean, I'm a bit saddened about this in some senses because I do quite like Javelins. I'm quite the Javelin fan. Obviously I'm at tier 7 with the Augustan Skirmishers. They're such a lovely unit to play. The damage output is just so great. And obviously we've been playing them with the Barbarian Youths. I assume this is just going to be a tech tree based Javelin nerf, so a total damage reduction by approximately 5%. Not particularly specific how that's being applied over the units, really. It doesn't go into details, because, how they're going to apply that? If they're just going to apply a 5% damage reduction to weapon damage, then they're more than welcome to. They can apply a 100% reduction for all I care, because Javelins are all about penetration damage anyway. They haven't really specified how they are applying this damage reduction, or is it going to be in a reload time nerf for the slower shooting? And also, is that damage reduction going to be affecting premium units like the Barbarian Youths that we've been having a couple of videos on recently? So yeah, I'm kind of curious about that. I've noted down some of the stats of the Barbarian Youths, so we're going to be checking them again once I've loaded in and got the patch done, and I'll see if there's been any changes to them, and then any changes compared to the Roman Javelins and sort of how that nerf has been applied. Oh, this is a slight basic nerf. I don't think it's necessarily particularly necessary, but they've basically made it so that, if you occasionally where you can throw your archers and things into combat to get a flank modifier on enemy units, they're basically reducing the effect of that, so you can't do it quite so powerfully. So on to unit abilities. Ray Shields is getting a very small nerf. It's an interesting one. I think they've probably done that with the in mind of Javelins again, because by targeting Javelins, often the Roman Javelins get access to Ray Shields, which puts their missile block chance around about 70, something like that, and kind of makes them really, really resistant to archer fire. So I think they've done that with the intent of nerfing that, but obviously Ray Shields is used by other units as well, and that might have some unintended consequences, possibly. So we shall see how that one pans out. Focus fire, slight weapon reduction, damage weapon reduction, fine. It is what it is. And Caltrops have had a slight speed debuff from 60% to 40%. Again, fine. I don't think that's really the problem with Caltrops, so I think people are more unhappy about the Caltop deployment times rather than their actual effect. I think people don't like the fact that they deploy in half a second, 1 second, almost instantly. And people want them to have a 2 or 3 second wind up time before they can be deployed. So I don't think that's really addressing the issue people have with them. So it looks like there have been a handful of premium unit changes as well. I've briefly flicked through here. There's nothing that really caught my eye as being anything particularly interesting. Triarides getting small buffs, stuff like that. Some of the Roman units. There wasn't actually anything I even owned, I don't think. So I didn't really care. I'll let you flick through all the full changes on these on your own time, but they're largely just mobility buffs, to be honest. Slow units getting sort of buffs to the speed. Actually, pretty reasonable buffs on most of them on their speed. But no, alas, no buff to our Barbarian Youths. That would have been nice. So that is basically my roundup of the patch notes. If we let's have a quick flick over if we've got time. Flick over to the news if it'll load. Obviously, internet's going slowly because of I'm uploading a video. And let's have a quick little focus on the new map of Cabral. I saw this has just popped out not long ago. So hopefully, if this map loads in, not that one, this map, we've got a larger overview of the map. So we can sort of see how the layout is arranged. Yeah, so there's some long grass here. Is that a bridge there? I think there might be a bridge there and there. So there's quite a few bridges across, actually, which is a good thing. We've got forests up here, but it's hard to imagine how these forests are really going to be implemented into gameplay with any sort of real effectiveness. I would assume, I don't actually know this to be honest, but I would assume that the spawn points are going to be on either side of this map, so everyone gets access to half city and the half more open bit. Because I mean, if they did one side to one side, you're going to be distinct playstyle changes from having all city and all more open terrain. But yeah, it's certainly going to be interesting having sort of a distinctly urban map with just a huge amount of roadways. I guess Barbarian units have got the option of running through this forest, cutting across to the long grass here and going around this way, possibly between the two bases. But that's really their only option. Anything else is just open ground. There's no forest anywhere else on the map other than this far edge. So yeah, Barbarians are going to be struggling a bit here, I think. But it's interesting. I'm certainly going to have a few battles tonight. See if I can get a battle in this map and see how we get on with it. So thank you for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed this bit of a patch roundup. I can't believe we're actually been 16 minutes already. Longer than I expected it to be. So thank you for watching, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed this roundup. If you have, let me know what you think about the patch changes in the comments down below. And I shall see you all on the next video.